Mark, good to chat with you again. Good to see you. FA Cup action awaits your side.
Yeah.
How much are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Haven't played in the first round of the FA Cup before. Played the third round many times, so hopefully I'll get the opportunity this year to play in that round again. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's a local derby as well. We're hoping for a good turnout. Clubs obviously trying to make sure that the interest is high, and let's hope we can get a good crowd and give them what they want.
You probably part answered my next question, really, which was how much importance are you putting on this competition as a team?
Oh yeah, it's important. I mean, clearly there's a financial edge to that, but for us as football people and the players themselves and the fans, obviously want to progress in the FA Cup. I've stated it from the beginning of the season. Same with the Papa Johns, is that we want to do well because clearly there's a monetary value to that. But the reality is, if you get to third round of the FA Cup, then there's some really good ties potentially that we might be involved in. So yeah, we'll try and get there. It's just the first step. Obviously, we've got another game if we accomplish what we want to do at the weekend, but and our intention is obviously to stay in the competition for as long as we can.
As a cup competition, what does it mean to you personally?
Well, it's a competition that's been very good to me in my career, both as a player and as manager. I was fortunate to play in a number of finals, and I was able to be part of a team that won most of the ones I was involved in. Got to a few cup semi-finals with the teams that I've managed, and enjoyed that experience. Not great, obviously, getting beaten in semi-finals, so it's not the time you want to get beaten, but still a big experience. Played obviously out the old Wembley, Millennium Stadium, managed teams at, and Wembley itself when I was at Southampton. So yeah, great experiences, and let's see how far we can get. You never know.
That meaning and importance that you hold, do you see that in the younger player now?
I'd like to think so. I think there's a real understanding of the history of the FA Cup. I think maybe you're talking about, maybe it's not as not in so much in the forefront of players' thinking, maybe in comparison to obviously promotion runs at this level or Premier League level. Obviously Champions League and Premier League titles seems to have superseded it somewhat, which is a shame. But I think the further you get in the competition, the more important it becomes to you as a club and as a player and as a manager. So it's just about trying to progress in arguably the best cup competition in the world. So I've played in cup competitions in different countries, and there's absolutely no comparison to the FA Cup anywhere I played. Germany, Spain, just doesn't compare. It's just not on the same level in terms of the prestige of the tournament and the standing and history of the competition. Yeah,
and some say that magic of the cup is still very much alive, particularly in the earlier rounds, because of the stories that you see. And Bradford City has that potential to be one of those stories again, as it has been in recent years. Yeah,
we'd like to think so. Third round is a massive date in the football calendar, always has been. So if we can get there, then obviously that's when the magic seems to happen for a lot of teams, and good things can happen. So we want to be part of that. If we can, is still a big step at the weekend. We need to obviously navigate the game against Harrogate and make sure we get through. But we've played them already. We've beaten them away from home, so there's no reason why we shouldn't be confident going into the game.
Yeah, how much of an aid is that you have played them recently and beaten them?
Yeah, I think on the day, I think they played near enough to their level. I don't think I'd say we played close to what we're capable of, but we still won the game. So we're going to obviously talk about that in terms of what we need to do, and ideally we're higher than what we were against Harrogate in the league game, and hopefully that will be enough against a team that's got a few players back, so it'll be slightly different in terms of personnel, I think. But if we do what we know we can do, then we'll have a good chance to progress.
Yeah, that cohesion and understanding that you have now as a side, has that progressed and developed from when you last played them?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've been a little bit frustrated, obviously, with the results, certainly at home. But we're actually trending in terms of all the metrics and all the things we judge performance on. It's going in the right direction. So if your performance level is good, then results follow that. So we're going in the right direction. Things that we talk about, we try and improve. They're improving. So yeah, we just need to continue to make sure we hit our targets, and then we'll be fine.
What are those metrics?
Well, it's obviously chances created, balls into the box, amount of touches in opposition box, crosses into the box. There's a whole raft of things that we look at that build your performance level, and the KPIs of the way we want to play obviously will be different from the KPIs of other teams, but the ones we feel are important, we're doing okay.
One player that we know won't be available for this Saturday's game, we've obviously learnt about Cian Harrett's situation this week. Just as the manager, what's your position on the situation right now?
Well, it wasn't something that we were aware of. Obviously, we are now, but clearly it's an issue that we have to allow Cian's parent club to address, which is happening. I know Ryan has spoken to their chief executive, so that's as much as I know really. Once we get some indication, then we can react accordingly. But Cian won't be involved this weekend, so I think once we get clarity in terms of what Huddersfield want to do, then we can react.
Has that decision been made to make him not available a reflection on the situation right now?
Oh, that's where we are at the moment. It's I think that's how it needs to be, but hopefully it'll be resolved and we'll get a bit of clarity.
Do you at all feel just let down, maybe, that you didn't or weren't aware of the situation?
Well, that's the reality of the situation, but listen, it is out there and it's happened, or something's happened. So we, like I say, we just need the clarity from his parent club, and once they give us some, then we can react.
Other team news wise, how are you going into Saturday?
We're okay. We got a slight doubt on Harry Lewis. Trained earlier in the week and had to drop out. Got a spasm in his back, so he hasn't trained up to this point. So leading into the game, he's a little bit of a doubt. We'll see how he is tomorrow. He may be okay, but if not, then we'll have to make a change there, which is unfortunate for us and for Harry, because obviously he's in fine form at the moment. But we've got good covers, so if we have to make a change, then so be it.
Yeah, in the form of those covers, Colin Doyle, does he come straight in?
Yeah, he's doing okay. He's obviously coach and player as well, but the balance that he's got and how he approaches the job enables him to still keep fit. So yeah, I'd have no qualms putting Doyle in.
Yeah, is he looking forward to that possible return?
I'm not quite sure. Told him to keep off the fried food leading into the game, maybe just in case, but we'll see what happens.
Jamie Walker, I know he's been spoken about this week. How is he progressing?
Doing very well. I think the intention is that he joins in maybe a few elements tomorrow. I'm talking just the warm-up, maybe maybe a little bit of possession work just to get a feeling of being integrated again, but still early days. Obviously he's not up to, or won't be up to full speed for a couple of weeks, but it's gone really well, touch wood. He won't get any setbacks once he's integrated back into the group, and he can be back fit and available. So he's done really well. The injury's progressed as we hoped it would. Hasn't had really any, up to this point, any significant setbacks, so that's enabled him to be bang on time, and the dates I was given pretty much are where we are with him in terms of his return. So pleased for him, and obviously pleased from my point of view as well.
And Liam Rideholds?
Liam's still not back on the grass. he had a little bit more of an issue with the calf, and we got it seen again, and it was probably a more significant injury than we first thought. So his return to training is a little bit behind where we thought he would be at this point, but hopefully next couple of weeks he'll be at the same level as Jamie is to return to the group.
And just finally from me, on Abo Issa's front, where does he need to be for you to have him in that fold of selection?
Abo is doing everything. He's been with the group for, I would say, nigh on 2-3 weeks now. We haven't been able to give him game time apart from just a little cameo the other week. So that would be the only concern, but that concern is lessening every week because he's training the whole session. So he's training nigh on an hour and a half almost every day now. So any concern that I have that he might not be able to, if needed, if he was on the bench and I'd need to bring him on for 30 minutes, I don't think I've got any concerns in that regard because he's training for an hour and a half every single day. So he's very close. He's in my thoughts. We'll see what the next few games take.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay.
How important is it that it is a local derby, this match, that it raises the interest in what could have been just another two League Two sides in the first round?
Yeah, no, I think that's certainly is a factor. I think that there is more interest as a consequence of that. Listen, we get great support. I mean, the support we had in the early rounds of the Caribou Cup and Papa John's has been great, and the atmosphere, irrespective, it may be down a little bit on our league following, but the noise they make is great. So let's hope that the magic of the cup is around the stadium and everybody enjoys it. I think it's, like I said, it's not going to be the normal capacity clearly, but I think it is the FA Cup. It's against local rivals, and if you fancy seeing us play again, come and watch us, and we'll try and do our best to make sure we win.
As you said, as a player particularly, you had a great record in the FA Cup and a pretty good one as a manager. Do you have one memory that stands out for you from it?
Difficult to say, really. You always remember, obviously, winning the cup, or when the referee blows the final whistle, then you remember that moment. I might have told you this story before about the first time I won the FA Cup. I was still walking up the steps, and lo and behold, the cup went up before I realised it was going to happen, so I missed that moment. So I always said there, well, if I ever get in this situation or this opportunity again, I'll make sure I'm up the front. So if you check all the cup finals involved in, it was always captain, goalie, me. So at least I learned something from it.
Cheers.
You said obviously, Mark, about everyone talking about the potential of getting to the third round and what you could win, and what we could face.
Mm-hmm.
Is there also a bit of a thing with the players of just reminding them, don't run before you can walk here? We've got this level first before we start thinking of.
All right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're not getting ahead of ourselves in any way, shape, or form. We understand it's still a game against League Two opposition, and we know how difficult that can be. So we've got to get the job done. That's a prerequisite. There's no point thinking that we're going to be in the third round. That's a way off in terms of what we're thinking. We can allow ourselves a little bit more of an idea of the third round and the latter stages as and when they happen. But no, our focus is totally on the first round, and let's navigate our way through that. And then the key is always just to be in the hat for the next round. That is the message we'll be talking about, and hopefully we'll be able to achieve that.
Obviously, at the moment, going through another one of these runs of home games. There's been a lot of home games about this season. I mean, we've talked about the home form got to be stronger this year, and are you slightly, frustrated that you've won 3 league games at home when probably should have? When you look at the game themselves, it should be a lot more than that.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think we were disappointed, obviously, the Swindon game with the late call on the penalty. We've actually, powers that be in charge of referees have pretty much admitted that it was a mistake, which we knew they would because it was. So yeah, those are points that have fallen by the wayside because of circumstances of the game. So, and we can look back on any number of them. But I do feel generally the form, as I said earlier, I think we're trending in the right direction. Like I said, we had 20-odd, 22, 23 attempts on goal against Crawley, which is a good level. I think it's up there with the highest that we've had this season. So it shows that we're getting good areas and putting balls in. So we've got to continue to do that. We've got to be a little bit sharper at the top end in terms of conversion of chances, but that's always the case. You have to be able to stick the ball in the back of the net, and if you're creating chances and having good moments, then those are the moments that are really important for us. So if we're going to start to up our conversion rate, then that's going to help us. If we get our noses in front, then I do feel that we can manage games a little bit more comfortable if we want to get 2 goals to the good, ideally, because then it becomes a different game and the opposition have to play possibly in a different way, and that's when opportunities can open up for you. So yeah, we're reasonably comfortable with the home form. We think it's at a good level. We know we feel we're doing the right things and getting the ball in good areas. So we'll continue in that vein, because at the moment it's only the end product that we're missing.
Is that sort of part of the message of look for that second goal when you're ahead? Because obviously, so you're not in that situation where you're going to get pegged back by a contentious decision or
that goes.
mistake. Or
It goes without saying. You're always at risk if you're only 1-0 to the good. So if we can, a lot of times we've been dominant in periods in games, and we haven't really capitalised and made the most of those dominant periods. So we've got to recognise that when momentum's really with us, we've got to really put the foot down and make sure that we capitalise on those periods in games where we're totally dominant.
And obviously you said about the powers that be have virtually apologised. I mean, did they actually sort of say, was there a sort of hand up sort of thing here?
Well, I think we're supposed to keep those conversations private. So
is it any consolation when you get the impression that they admit?
No consolation whatsoever. No, absolutely not. But it is what it is. Referees make genuine mistakes, clearly. But I don't think the referee we had covered himself in glory the next game he has. I think my old teammate Paul Ince wasn't too happy with him either. So maybe there's a trend for me.